Are you reactive or repressive when it comes to your relationship, actions, and experience of sales in your business? We're going to find out right now. My name is Melissa Moffett. If you do not know me, who am I to be talking about sales and teaching about sales? I have been leading a coaching business since 2018 full-time. At first, I was teaching meditation, yoga. I was selling a guided meditation album, teaching global retreats, in-person classes, and then I started life coaching, and my first course was called Worthy. And I got very interested in the business side of things because I had to, girl. Because I was making like $300 a month when I first started my business, and I was like, this is not gonna happen. This is not gonna fly. Like, I'm not gonna survive, literally. And so I had to learn how to sell. I had to learn about money, and I got really good at the business side of things. I scaled that business to multiple six figures a year. And then after that, people started asking me about it. Life was like, hey girl, you need to be teaching this. People were literally coming to me and being like, will you teach me about money? Will you teach about business? Will you come and give a talk about business in this class or in this mastermind? And I was like, okay, I'm ready to be talking about business. And so now I've been teaching on it for years and have worked with going on 5,000 clients. So here's the thing. I know a lot about sales, but, and this is the biggest thing I want to get through to you all today in this video, sales in my world, in my business, it's not just sales. It's not just trying to get that dollar. It's not just trying to get any client, okay? In my world, in my life, and I had to move through this myself, it's about holding a deep reverence and a deep sacredness when it comes to sales, okay? And experiencing sales as this invitation, as this portal for you and your clients to come into a deeper relationship with yourself, deeper well-being, deeper love that you can fill up yourself and share with others. And so in this video, we're going to explore some of the patterns that you might be having that are based in survival, based in scarcity, that are either A, burning you out, depleting you, or not actually helping you expand and be fulfilled and be taken care of and nurtured in the way that you deserve, that your gifts deserve. Okay, so I have some notes over here, right? The thing is, we want to first understand what these patterns are. So having that awareness of the patterns that are holding us back, that are dysregulating us, burning us out, where we're playing small, is really beautiful. And then I'm also going to help you at the end of this video to start to shift those patterns into what I call the way of operating is sacred sales, okay? Later on, if you would like, if this is resonating with you, if you were like, this is really speaking to me, I'm doing a free live masterclass called my Sacred Sales Masterclass. And it is actually the very first class, and again, I'm doing it totally free, in a series of classes in a container called Sacred Sales. So that is my full, it is a course, it is I call it a container because the way I work with people is like it's an inner transformation of transmission, energetic practices, working with your nervous system, working with your perspective, working with divine unseen support working with your gifts, working with your body, but then also education, learning tangible skills, strategies that align with the values of Sacred Cells and your values of what Sacred Cells means to you. Okay, so you're invited to that free masterclass. It is happening June 20th. And if you're watching the replay on this, I'm sure you'll be able to find the replay for that free masterclass later. Okay, so number one, let's start to explore if you are reactive or repressive when it comes to cells. And you might be experiencing both in some way, just like these are very much similar to anxious and avoidant styles of relating. Like this happens a lot with money, like the same things that happen in relationships with people, it happens with money. Our relationship with money, our relationship with our business, our relationship with sales, they are relationships. So if that relationship is driven by fear running the show, expecting to get something out of it, expecting it to provide something that it's not meant to provide, it will start to, you'll develop coping mechanisms to try to extract that thing out of it, right? And a lot of times it's safety, it's fulfillment, it's love. But you have to meet it. In order to receive safety and fulfillment and love from your business, from money, from a person, you have to meet it with safety, fulfillment, love, right? So these coping mechanisms, again, it's first having that awareness of them, and then we're going to talk about how to shift them. And you might have both, right? You might have a bit of both, or you might kind of fluctuate one way or the other, given what's coming up in your business, given the time. Okay, so let's talk about reactive first and what that can look like. A reactive based sales, and both of these, again, are based in feeling like there's not enough clients, reactive can really be based in that, like, not enoughness, like there's not enough people, like people don't understand you, people don't see you, like you have to, it's very fight or flight energy. Like you have to like really fight to make money. You have to really fight to get clients. You have to really work really hard. And so this looks like a lot of overcompensation. You are working long hours. You feel like you have to do the most in order to get sales. You feel like you have to say things like kind of like sometimes manufacturing emotions, like feeling very hype or feeling like you have to make these big promises and these big guarantees that aren't actually taking into consideration the deep inner transformation and the long term, like you're offering kind of quick fixes or feeling like you have to. And if you fall for this too, like if you find yourself investing in a lot of like spending money and hiring coaches or doing whatever it is from this mentality of like, this is gonna fix me, this is gonna solve all my problems, and then you end up feeling regretful of spending that money or disappointed, or like you made it from a like unregulated place, you're probably also mirroring this in how you're doing your sales. You don't feel like you can be fully transparent. You don't feel like you can be yourself. So it feels really like making content feels like you have to pull it out of yourself, but you still do it. You're doing it. You're maybe making a lot of content. You're selling all the time. What are some other things here? Like, yeah, you feel like you have to overpromise. You have to hustle. You have to chase. And it's like, it really, over time, what's going to happen, and I'm going to talk about the antidotes to these later. So if you're recognizing that like, oh, I'm doing this, it's okay. It's okay. Another thing that can be very reactive is feeling like you have to, I'm just letting it slip from my head. I can actually tell a story about this. I had a story to tell to you all about this. Like, one time I recognized I was doing this when I So when I first started selling my money course, so at first it was called Worthy and Wealthy. The first time I ever created this course was 2019. And the first time, and I ran a beta group of it, and then I sold it. It's now called Wealthy. And then the first time I actually sold it publicly was in 2020. And I was feeling really like excited and really, I was in like it was like I was in a bubbly phase of life. I was feeling it was like summertime. TikTok was just coming out. And so I was making all these like pointing reels. And I had just like, at that point, I was in this period where over the course of 6 months, I like 5x'd my business in 6 months and went from making like, maybe $4,000 or $5,000 a month to like $30,000 a month on repeat. And it was like this big expansive moment. And so TikTok was out and I was making all these cute like dancing pointing reels and like being like, here's how money works, la 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 la. And I had a great launch, right? And then the next time I launched it was maybe like 6 months later, like that winter, or maybe like 8 months later, but it was winter. And COVID was still happening and I was like alone a lot, and my business had grown to the point where I feel like what happens is a lot of times when people have a business expansion, they start to see places that they can heal more because there's resource there and there's like support there to actually go heal it. And so I had this experience where my burnout, and that wasn't from running my business, it was actually from like, I started going into burnout when I was literally like 8 years old from childhood trauma, and then it just kept going. My burnout started to surface, my adrenal fatigue, and I started doing somatic therapy weekly. I was doing acupuncture. I was doing all of these modalities to heal, and I was tired, and it was winter. I had just moved up to 8,500 feet in the mountains of Colorado, and I was tired. And I started to do this launch for Wealthy, and I felt like I needed to be the person who I had been in the previous launch. So I was trying to be like bubbly and cute and like do the same like cute dancing pointing videos, and it was just falling flat. Absolute crickets. And I was like, you know what? This is fake. Like, I'm being fake. I was reacting to being like, I don't feel the same way, and I feel like I have to perform and be this person that I'm not. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to give it a try and be myself. And so I was just really honest about what I was going through and about how that played into my relationship with money and my experience of money. It was very like, I was like sleeping a lot on the couch. My like stories were, I was literally like I remember being on my couch taking a photo of my wall and just like writing. And that was my marketing. And when I tell you all that like it went from crickets to people being like, oh my God, I'm so glad to hear this. Like, this is resonating with me so much. This is blowing my mind, because it was true. It was true. I wasn't feeling like I had to manufacture or perform. And I ended up having, I think like overall that launch was like 45 people joined the course, which is incredible. And from me on my couch doing somatic therapy, exhausted, and just being honest about it. Another thing that can come up around reactive patterning is like feeling like you have to do all these dysregulating tactics, like a lot of like false or manufactured urgency. So urgency isn't the problem, because sometimes there is real urgency, like when there's limited spots, when there's a timeline for things, but like feeling like you constantly have to do urgency, feeling like you're constantly having to make something new, feeling like you're having to like raise the bar every time, or like you're getting bored, or like you're gonna like people are gonna get bored of you, like very dysregulating business. Like you feel dysregulated in your business, your clients, you feel like, you have to dysregulate people. You feel like you have to pressure people, shame people, all of those things to get people to buy, like all of this BS bro marketing stuff around like, pushing people to sign up while they're on the phone, or like, just like all these like shame and pressure tactics. So if you're doing any of that, come to come to the Sacred Cells Masterclass. It's going to serve you so much. Okay, so the other side of this is repressive, the repressive pattern. Okay, and a lot of times people experience both. They might like pendulum. So my work with business and my work with money is really about helping people find this like beautiful, grounded, centered way of operating versus just like swinging around and penduluming and being like, oh, should I try this? Should I try this? Is this working? Is this working? And getting burned and then like hiding, So basically, people might start out more repressive and then pendulum to being more reactive and then like be like, okay, I actually hate this, and then pendulum back to being repressive again. Like, so let's not do that anymore. So repressive is like you're hiding, you're burying your head in the sand. You don't want to be seen. You feel like you don't have anything of value to share, a lot of unworthiness feelings. You avoid sales altogether. So maybe you're good with connecting with people. So there's a lot of like, people who are good at being like making connection content, but you're not good at actually like talking about your offers because you don't actually see the key part, like that sacredness in your sales, that invitation, and how it's of like deeply high service to be selling. You are really afraid that people are going to judge you. Like, what are people going to think about me? What are people in my real life going to think about me? You feel really stung anytime you're rejected, anytime someone's a no or not yet. You take it super personally. You make it mean that like something is wrong with you, something's wrong with your work. You feel very like scattered, like you don't have a clear channel or a clear strategy or a clear like business plan. It just feels like throwing spaghetti at the wall. You go through patterns of like maybe like getting just enough money and then like very feast and famine-y, very like once you get enough then you stop selling. Some other things that can come up, this is like it's more on like it's repressed, right? So instead of reactive, like fight or flight, react, like let me go out there and run away or fight this off, it's very like shut down. So freeze, fawn, it's really related to those kind of responses, related to a lot of unprocessed shame, and like this internalized condition of like there's something wrong with me, or it's not safe to be seen, it's not safe to be selling, etc., etc. And yeah, the thing that can happen from like, so let's talk about, so these are the two different, the reactive patterning and the repressive patterning. So again, you might experience one or both, but if you're experiencing the reactive patterning more, what's going to happen is you're going to either burn out. Both of these will lead to burnout, right? Because you're not channeling your energy in a sustainable and regenerative way. If you're more reactive, you're going to be overworking, like marketing a ton, and maybe like you might be making a lot of money, but not actually feeling fulfilled. Like you're meeting these milestones and then being like, what happened? Or you're not actually enjoying your work. Once you're making the sales, you're working with clients who end up being really dysregulated, end up resenting you or resenting your work, talking shit about you, being really like mad, all of that kind of stuff. You're not actually tapping into your actual gifts because you're feeling like you have to be above and beyond and better than you actually are, instead of just like really owning your worth and owning your value exactly as you are. And it's a lot easier to speak from like a place of truth than a place of manufacturing. If you're more on the repressive side of things, you're also going to experience burnout because you're going to end up being kind of in this martyr position where you're like, there's like this holier than thou kind of like I'm not someone who sells, only the bad people do that, only the bad people. And you feel like it's like bad. There's like this like moral high ground to having a lot of money or doing really well in your business. And you're going to end up like overworking and bending over backwards for your clients. having unsustainable energy exchanges. Your business is going to like maybe make some progress and then stall. You're not actually going to be able to sustain scaling. You're going to start feeling resentful. You're going to have to, like, with both of these, people like crash and burn out, burn their businesses to the ground. I see it all the time. I've literally never done that. I'm so proud of myself that I can say I have never burnt out from my business. Not once. I have never burnt my business to the ground. Not once, because I'm really good at sustaining my energy. So if you're experiencing these, what are the antidotes? The antidotes are: learn how to come into a centered, heart-centered, true from the core of your power, deeply rooted in safety and security, feeling open to the support, the divine support of Mother Earth, of God, of love, of your clients, of like life. That your business is a channel for love and support and well-being. That money is a life force here to support you. That exchange of money is a sacred exchange of your gifts and them receiving. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to do this. First of all, in the Sacred Sales Free Masterclass, I'm going to get into so much. I have so much to talk about with this. And then we're going to go deeper into everything, right? In the Sacred Sales course, where we're going to be talking about visibility, content creation, expression, sales, the philosophy, the values of sales, as well as strategies. I have so much to talk about with this because there's so much that goes into it. It's not just about marketing. It's about like how you see the world. It's about your openness to give and receive. It's about like really harnessing your gifts. But when you embrace sacred sales, so much good is going to come from it. You are going to experience things like so much more fulfillment, first of all. And your clients, like, it's going to be so much more simple to sell. Sacred sales is very simple, very straightforward, very grounded in truth, grounded in who you actually are, grounded in your gifts. You feel really good about it because it's grounded in your values. You are able to be consistent, again, because it's straightforward. It doesn't require all of this like emotional processing, high and lows of energy, high and lows of emotions. It's empowering for you and your clients. It's literally healing for you and your clients. I didn't burn out from business. I actually recovered from burnout while I was scaling my business to 50K months with a small team, literally. I'm going to say it again. I did not burn out from business. I recovered from burnout. This is why I teach to business in a way that is life-giving. Beyond sustainable. Sustainable is great, but that's input equals output. I want you to go beyond that, where people are coming to you. I literally have clients reach out to me years after they worked with me and tell me how their work is still impacting them. That's life-giving. That's life-giving. When you have the sacred sales process and everything that goes with it, you have clients who love working with you, love receiving from you, are super loyal. Your brand is resilient, credible, because it's honest. It's so grounded in love, and so much good comes from it. And you make more money too, but in a way that feels so good. So if this is what you want, come to the Sacred Sales Free Masterclass on June 20th. If you want to go deeper, you can join the Sacred Sales course. I have links down below where you can look into both. If you want to go even deeper, I recommend either the Heart-Led Business Collective, which is my year-long all-access pass of every single one of my courses. Plus, there's one-on-one support and weekly group masterminding calls, so you get personalized support. It's an amazing container. I love it so much. Or you can join my one-on-one coaching. I only work with a few clients at a time, so depending on when you're seeing this, there may or might not be spaces open. When there's not spaces open, I do a paid wait list. And so if you're feeling called to work with me, go check those out. There's other free options for how you can keep consuming and keep getting to know my work. I recommend you do that through the Wealthy Show podcast, which you can find on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify. I have a free business expansion masterclass and practice playlist, which I'll link down below. And you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. All right, you all, lots of love. See you soon. Bye.